All right, welcome to the One Big Fire podcast. And today we got a very special guest. But before we get into that, if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking for an exit strategy, if you're looking for more lead generation, if you're looking for just better collaboration, a better business model, go check out partnershipsurvey.com. You can actually fill out a survey and schedule a call with Jay or myself or maybe Mr. Al Stasic. When you do the survey, basically you're going to look at the survey questions, and we're going to try to find out a little bit more about your business and see if there was a way that we could help coach you, help you build your business without ever charging you a dime. If that's something of interest to you, go check out partnershipsurvey.com. Today I'm here with Sheila Fejeran, and she is a person that has had a lot of influence on my life in regards to EXP. In fact, when I first started with EXP, the very first person, typically my strategy is never to be the smartest kid in class, just to sit next to him. And so I asked around, asked a bunch of questions, looked for someone that had that was congruent with my values, would probably be doing business the way that I wanted to do. And anyway, Sheila's name kept coming up, so I did everything that I could in order to try to get her on the phone and ask her as many questions as I possibly can. So, Sheila, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Excited.
So tell us about your journey. You know, this podcast is for people that are looking to grow their business. Why did you choose, the EXP business model? Where were you before? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Are you still actively selling real estate, and, why you made the switch to EXP?
Sure. So I originally was running a brokerage in Plano, and I had at one point 12 offices in 4 states, and we were predominantly a HUD REO brokerage, and we had sold 6,000 homes over the period of time with my team. And basically, it was quite painful doing that business because it's a 24-hour-a-day job with the amount of properties we were handling, and it was pretty crazy. So what had happened was I wound up starting in the traditional end of the business to build that leg of the company out, and started coaching and getting to know people. And I wound up getting into coaching with a friend of yours through that and building that end of the business for the company. But I was sitting in a real estate broker class one day, updating my license, and a gentleman by the name of Rob Flick walked in. He was the lunch sponsor of all things. And he had just moved to Dallas and had just decided to open up EXP in Dallas. And I literally was on the edge of my seat listening to him. I got it. I saw it. Actually, the first thing that flashed through my mind as I was listening to him speak was 50 states. That's what I saw, was 50 states. Because being in the painful HUD REO business, you literally, there's never an end and there's never a way out. And it is, you literally think I can never retire because I'm working 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it was just a really rough business. But I thought if I could build my team within EXP big enough that I would someday be able to build enough wealth to retire or to not have to do what I was doing. That's immediately what popped in my mind as I listened to Rob. So as soon as he was done talking, I was out of my seat up to the front of the room and said, "When can we meet? We need to set up a time to meet."
That's amazing. And so you, and that's the crazy thing is that, there's a lot of times that, I just talk to people about EXP and they get it. Then some people, unfortunately that wasn't me. It took me about a year to get it. But you obviously had a lot of experience. What is, as far as just building the team within 50 states, were you thinking about like the traditional business model, or were you actually seeing the power of building kind of the revenue share? What concept of team did you see at that time?
I was thinking revenue share because at the time, having 12 offices in 4 states, I was running a virtual brokerage. So I was running, I had pre-recorded training. I had training virtually for all of my agents to log in and learn. So I was already doing what this company did in another business.
Gotcha.
So I totally got the model. I totally got what I could do. And then when I thought from the revenue share, and especially because being in coaching, as you know, you get to know a lot of amazing people around the country. And I thought, oh my gosh, imagine all the people this could help. And then what that could do for me and my boys, because I'm a single mom, and how I could help my life as well as help other people's lives.
So after that day, you saw Rob Flick, you ran up to the front of the room. How long from that day was it for you to change over to EXP? And how many agents were with EXP at the time?
Oh, there was about 1,000 agents with EXP.
Holy
so
moly.
It was really, really small. And it was days that I met with Rob. And my only concern at the time was the gentleman's company that I ran. He was an older gentleman and I loved him. He's like my dad. And I said, I can't leave him because I can't do that to him. I need him to come with us. And so Rob called Gene, and Gene knew him because that he used to run CCAR. And so Gene came up from Austin, and the four of us sat down and had breakfast together and showed him the opportunity. And he said, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's going to change real estate. And I absolutely think you should do it, but I'm not going to go with you because I don't want to give up my contracts, but you need to go.
Man.
He's an amazing man. I love him.
That's amazing.
And so and immediately I moved over right after that.
And so there's 1,000 agents. What year is this?
2016.
2016.
3 years ago.
Holy moly. And so just to kind of, when I heard, I think you have a very unique situation. And one of the things that I know when I first met you was you weren't thinking in the box. And what I mean by that is, I heard a rumor. I was like, that at that point, when I was, I think it was the Omni Hotel in Dallas, you and Rob came back after the shareholders meeting in Florida. Y'all flew back and kind of talked to our mastermind group.
Right.
And
that's right. That's the first time I met you. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I remember thinking, first of all, I remember looking over and thinking like you were treating this like a business.
Oh yeah.
And you were definitely serious about growing the business. But the other rumor I heard was that you had a full-time driver. Was that true back then, or did that happen later?
It happened because of this.
Okay.
So what happened was when I came to EXP and I was not running that company, my business exploded. So I started selling 100 homes a year by myself just because what EXP offers and the freedom of not having everybody else that I had to manage, I was able to just focus on my business. So I wound up quickly realizing that, oh my gosh, how in the world am I going to do all this? And in Dallas, you drive a lot. So I was in the vehicle 4 hours a day, wasted just driving to appointments. So I thought, oh my gosh, I used to live in New York City when I was in the media business and I had drivers. And I thought, well, I just need to hire a driver and then I can use all that time to work. So I hired a driver and I was able to work all day long. And then I trained the driver how to do things as an assistant. So I'd go into appointments. She would have a separate laptop. So she would be working while I was in the appointment.
That's amazing.
And then she would drive me around. And that's how I was able to do that production.
That's incredible. So are you still in production?
What I did was I wound up building a team. So I have 12 agents, 4 assistants, and I push everything to them to help serve and give and take care of them. I'll go on listing appointments, but I have listing managers and I help them sell and help them convert.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know. So this is news to me. So you're like Wonder Woman. That's incredible. So let's fast forward a little bit. And a lot of people who are listening, some of the people that are listening to this are going to be like me already in EXP and want to have your success. So how big is your team right now within EXP? How many agents?
4,500.
So you have 4,500 agents, and you probably don't know how many transactions y'all are doing.
No.
I almost looked at
thousands and thousands.
Thousands, yeah. So you're literally. So for those of you, if you're not with the EXP, she's not only got a traditional real estate team in Texas. I think this is the big get is for someone looking into EXP, you also have other agents that you're helping grow across state lines where you're also participating in every transaction that they do to the tune of 4,500 agents. You're getting a small piece of every transaction.
Right. So I think that's very, very key. Because most people at a normal franchise or a normal brokerage, you're getting one source of income. So what I explain to people is when you come to EXP, it's like a super highway. You're no longer just on a 1-lane road. You now have 3 lanes, 3 sources of income that you're getting here at EXP that you can't get anywhere else. So you have your commission still, then you have the money you're making from the stock, and then you have the money you're making from your team, your national team. So I'm actually, with 4,500 agents, I'm bigger than every brokerage in America.
Holy
so
moly.
My team is bigger than any other brokerage in America. I don't even think there's any brokerage that big, single brokerage bigger than my team. So think about that. Think about the fact of you can become a national brokerage just from the team you build within EXP.
And so let me ask you a question. So, so you have 4,500 agents. How many, how did you do that? Did you have to talk to 4,500 people?
No, that's the amazing part of it. I don't know, you're not old enough to remember this, but there was this old shampoo commercial that had little blocks with this woman in the picture, and she talked about, and you invite 2 friends, and you invite 2 friends, and you invite 2 friends. And it's the exponential growth, or the snowballing, if you want to call it that, effect of the compilation. So you invite someone, they invite someone, they invite someone, they invite someone. And sometimes you invite someone and they invite lots of someones.
Yeah.
Which was my case, is I invited a few key people because, again, when I thought 50 states, the first thing I started doing was making a list of every single mega agent I knew. And in coaching, I knew a lot of mega agents, and one of them being Brent, who brought you.
Yeah.
So basically, I started just literally hammering the phones, calling all of them, going, holy mackerel, I've seen the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is going to change the real estate industry. You have to see this. You have to see this. Even if you don't do it, you have to see it.
That was your script.
That was it.
So one of the things that I think is really awesome, and especially for people in EXP, is, a lot of people think that they don't have anyone to call. Were people pretty receptive, or did you call any strangers with that, or did all these people know who you were?
Well, I can't say they knew who I was, in the sense of I met Brent. And I think this is really important, especially for people who aren't big agents or big teams, because the majority of agents in our country are not mega teams. They're just normal agents doing deals, selling 4 to 6 houses a year or whatever they're selling. And I think they get intimidated when they look at even me, thinking, oh, she's so big or she's so this. It's like, oh, no, I'm not. When you look at, I was just this little agent from Dallas at the time, right? And I called Brent Gove, who was a mega agent doing $120 million a year, who I had not seen in 2 years, who did not know me from Adam. I got his card from a real estate conference, a coaching conference. He did not know me, but I had his card, so he met me. So that's what I leveraged. So you leverage the relationship. I said, hi, Brent, this is Sheila Fejeran. I don't know if you remember me. So then that makes them feel like their reticular activating system's going, holy mackerel, who is this person? I can't remember who it is. And I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at such and such event in Dallas. And I really was amazed listening to you. I was so impressed at your talk. And I just wanted you to know that. And I also wanted to ask you a quick question, if I can. Have you by chance heard of this company? And he said, no. And I said, well, it is going to change our real estate industry. It is a new technology. It is something you've never seen before. And I wanted to see if we could set up a time to show it to you. I didn't tell him what it was. That's exactly what I said. I said, it's a company. It's a new technology platform. It's going to change the real estate industry. And I would love to show it to you and see what you think. So,
did you understand the ripple effect of that one phone
no
call?
idea. I keep joking with everybody, I'm going to write a book called The $1 Million Phone Call. Because you don't realize, and for anybody listening, I don't care how small you are. It isn't about how big you are. It is about offering an opportunity. That's what I really, really more than anything want you to understand. All you're doing is calling someone to offer an opportunity to them. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing. You're not, it's not about you. It is about the opportunity that you're offering them to change their lives and to change their future. So you're giving. So think about it, that you're giving to them.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. With that being said, you talk, do you ever have agents that aren't receptive to that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing, though, that I've found over the last 3 years is that it's the agents that won't look. If I can get someone to look at it, if they have any sense of open-mindedness or any sense of entrepreneurship in their bones, they can't stop thinking about it. So the hardest part is getting them to actually look at it, meaning watch a webinar, sit with me, go through the slides, see the actual opportunity. Because the people that take the time to see it, some of them don't believe it because it really does seem too good to be true. It really does. And back then when we started, nobody had done this.
Right.
So when me and Rob started this, we were it.
Yeah.
So until we started having success and started having rev share to show people, look, and it's real. See, it's real. Look what we're doing. That was the first hurdle to get over, is to have the success, to show the success. And then as we've grown it, that part's there. And so now it's just a matter of getting people to look at it.
So I get this question all the time, and I think I call it building the bridge. How do you go from, first of all, you're an anomaly, but I do hear a lot of people who say, well, first of all, either A, I don't want to be a recruiter. That's one thing I hear. Or they say, this is all about recruiting. And just for me, I mean, the difference is I had a $10 million coaching company. And for me, I worked on it on Fridays, which we called Freedom Friday, right?
I like
And we went to the Maple Biscuit every morning. We worked on our deal till noon. And then and I get this question. I got it since I've been here in Vegas from a guy on the phone. He says, well, I love everything, but how much time is it going to take me to invest in doing this? And so what do you tell people, who are really trying to feed their family with the business that they're selling, and then also on the other hand they have this amazing opportunity? How do they balance the two? I know you've obviously juggled them very well, but what advice would you give to someone else?
Well, I think it depends on where you're at. Meaning, if you're a solo agent selling a few homes a year and you literally have that goal for the rest of your life to stay a solo agent and not do any more, then the chances of you being successful with the recruiting aspect of it is probably slimmer. And bear with me for a second while I explain why. You'll still do better at EXP, and you still will be more. It will be more beneficial to be at EXP because, number one, your cap's probably going to be lower, and you're going to make the stock while you do the transactions. And the training you get is going to be worlds better than what you're getting, just because I know what our platform is. So those are 3 reasons to move, even if you're a small solo agent that will never recruit another agent. That's one group of people. Everybody else are people who are trying to build their business, trying to build a team, trying to build a brokerage. So everybody else falls into the second bucket. So if you are in that second bucket, whether you like it or not, you are a recruiter. You're going to recruit to your team. You're going to recruit to your brokerage. You're going to have to keep recruiting because team members will quit when they get big enough. They'll go out on their own. So no matter who you are a recruiter if you're going to have a team or build a business beyond a little solo agent and stay that way. So you are a recruiter. And I don't care what you call it, team builder, team leader, you're a recruiter.
Right.
So the reality is just accepting what you are and then deciding how big you want to get. Meaning, as I recruit, I make a decision. Am I going to recruit to my team, personal team in Dallas, or am I going to recruit this person to EXP? And it's based on whether that person meets my culture, whether that person's a fit with my team members, whether that person's in line with me, that I want them on my personal team. And if not, they're still better off at EXP. And then I'll help them build a team. But either way, you're a recruiter, and unless you're that little solo agent that never wants to grow. Everybody else is a recruiter.
What do you think is the best benefit for someone who? One of the best guys for us, this guy named Dan, he did really well. When he started, he said, I'm not going to do anything with recruiting. He literally came over because his broker took him to Maggiano's in Atlanta and announced they were changing the splits. He went on YouTube, found a video of Jay, and came over, right? And so, but the last two of the people that I recruited, one was a girl named Courtney, and I met Courtney. She was my Uber driver. She overheard me talking to my wife. And she had her license, and her parents were licensed in Houston.
That's amazing.
That was on the way to spring break. When I got to spring break, I checked in. I met a guy on the chairlift who had a brokerage. I was in Solitude, Utah, and he came on board, right? And then I was at the Kentucky Derby waiting on our limo bus, and there was this good dressed male standing next to me. I was like, man, you dressed up real nice. You going to the Derby? He said, no, I'm here for a networking event. I said, oh, yeah, what do you do? He said, I'm in real estate.
Oh, my
And so we got him. So, like, to me, it's really is just sharing the opportunity, and the opportunities. A lot of people think that it's too late. What do you think about that?
Oh, I mean, think about it. We have 19,000 agents And there are 2 million agents in America. And there are, I don't even know how many millions of agents there are in the world, a lot. So we're literally a drop in the bucket. And you think Keller Williams at 180,000 agents, they're a drop in the bucket. They're a small p even in the whole world scheme when you look at the opportunity.
Yeah.
So not only is there opportunity just because the vast majority of agents in the world right now, and we will be worldwide. The second reason why is if you look at the statistics from NAR, agents overturn every 3 years. So there's always a new group of agents entering the real estate field. So a lot of your mega agents haven't even got licensed yet. So your next superstar isn't even in the business. Maybe is in high school right now.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So it's always turning over. So that's the amazing part about real estate is there's always opportunity.
Yeah. So let me ask you, for the agent that comes over and this is just a persona, this is a certain subset, but what do you say if I'm an agent and my biggest struggle in my business is I don't have enough leads? I need, because a lot of agents, they want to grow their business, they just don't have enough business. How does EXP help that agent?
Well, I think EXP is very unique because they offer something called KV Core, and they give it to every agent. And people who don't know this about Glenn started his business by generating leads. He was one of the first, if not I don't know if he was the first, but he was one of the first people in history to generate leads online. He came from AOL. He was recruited by AOL he was a stockbroker. He was recruited to AOL because he was such a tech genius. And then when he came into the real estate industry, he understood the internet in a way most people didn't. And he leveraged that, and he built the first expansion team at Keller. So he had 9 offices all over the country, and all he did was generate leads online and give them to his agents. So when he decided to start EXP, obviously in his mind, his philosophy is lead generation online. And he understood that one of the big pain points for agents all across the country is leads. So he said, why don't we leverage to make sure that we can give a system to every single agent that they can get leads on their own and not be dependent on a third-party company, but have the control themselves. And if they're willing to do the work, they can generate as many leads as they want.
That's true. And I tell people, I have a lot of agents that are, leveraging KV Core, leveraging the digital marketing team with Making It Rain. I think it's probably, the difference is, you go to some brokerages and you're new and they're like, oh, you got to take this class. It's $1,000. Then you got to go buy this tool. It's another XYZ. And the only really option is going to a team and give half your commission away because you don't have any money left over. And I think that they kind of created that opportunity for people. But I want to say thank you for being on the podcast today.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's guys. She is really blowing up. If you haven't, where can they follow you on? Are you on Facebook, Instagram?
You name it.
All right. And Instagram, do you know your handle?
I think it's just at Sheila Fejeran. I can't remember.
Okay. How do they spell that?
Sheila, Sheila. Fejeran is Fejeran.
And she has made such an impact, just really in so many agents' lives. And if you're listening to this podcast and you would like to know how you could grow your business, whether it's creating an exit strategy, building a team, or really building a virtual real estate team where you could actually create a business that works harder for you than you do for it, and you'd like help or have any questions on how you could do that, you can go to partnershipsurvey.com. Take the survey. There's a small, short little video that will explain in more detail the opportunity. If you like what you hear, you can jump on the calendar with somebody and have a confidential call, have all your questions answered. And we appreciate you. If you like this podcast, make sure you also subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Bye-bye.